Okay, so we'll continue today. We have covered the 45 years of the Buddha's achievement, and today the syllabus calls for we should cover the 9 qualities of the Buddha, and this will stretch into 3 lessons, because after that we'll pick up the values that they will describe him as the doctor of deathlessness and the other qualities. So we will. So what Brother Kevin has done was to recite for us the homage to the Buddha, and then the 3 refuges and the 5 precepts. Basically, what we have done is to pay homage to the fully enlightened one, that's the Buddha. We have taken refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, meaning that when we take refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, the book says that if we take refuge firmly, faithfully, we will not be reborn in the 4 lower realms. That is very important when we take refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Now we say Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. So 3 times. For 2nd time and the 3rd time we take refuge in the Buddha, take refuge in the Dhamma, take refuge in the Sangha. Meaning if we take that with full conviction, we will not be reborn in the 4 lower realms of the hell realm, the Avicii hell. We will not be reborn in the animal realm. We will not be reborn in the Asura realm. We will not be reborn in the hungry ghost realm. Yeah, that is the advantage or purpose of taking refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. And of course, our 5 precepts, meaning that we want to live an ethical Buddhist life. We will refrain from killing, we will refrain from telling lies, we will refrain from stealing, we will refrain from intoxicant, we will refrain from sexual misconduct. So that means we want to live a very good Buddhist ethical life. And that's all Buddhism is all about. When we live a very good ethical life, we overcome suffering. Right? Suffering is caused by unethical living, unethical life. Yeah. Okay, so today we will go. Now, when we say we take refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, we say we take refuge with full conviction. Not only saying Buddha Saranang Gacchami, Dhamma Saranang Gacchami lightly. We must take with full confidence. And after that, maybe following that, we will recite the 9 virtues of the Buddha. And that is our lesson today. We will say the 9 virtues of the Buddha, meaning to say that we are reaffirming our pledge, or reaffirming our belief, or reaffirming our conviction of taking refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, in the Buddha. Okay. Okay, so the introduction for today's, I'm sure you have received the notes that I've sent you for the lessons today. So the introduction today, we say that the Buddha, the Prince Siddhartha, he renounced the world. What was his purpose? He went forth to seek the truth of suffering, to seek the cause of the suffering, to seek the cessation of this suffering, and to seek the way to end suffering. That was his purpose of renouncing. Yeah. To find solution to end this samsaric cycle of suffering. So it is beneficial and very good if you can remember the Pali equivalent of truth of suffering as dukkha arya satya. Dukkha arya satya, and the cause of suffering as dukkha samudaya arya satya. And the cessation of suffering, if you can, is dukkha nirodha arya satya. And the end of suffering is dukkha nirodha gamini patipada arya satya. Yeah. Blocking me. Okay. So it's dukkha nirodha gamini patipada arya satya. So that is the way to end suffering. The advantage is sometimes, when during the exams, you can quote one or two Pali stanzas or Pali sentences, it impresses your examiners. You may get an extra point for that, It impresses him more, usually. Okay, so today, we are talking about the 9 virtues of the Buddha. Like before, those who have attended our senior level, I have said this also, that it is easier to remember the 9 virtues of the Buddha if we can recite it in Pali, because it is written in a very nice, pure poetic format. It's easier to remember. Or in English, you can also try to remember in English if you want. But I've always recommended that if we can remember the 9 virtues of the Buddha as what we are chanting now. I'll give you an example. If you can remember the structured way of remembering it, in a very poetic form. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vidya-charana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati satta deva manussanang buddho bhagavati. So if you can remember, you recite this every morning, then you can remember. Then it's easier then to translate that. So Bhagava means for this reason, for this purpose, he is the exalted one. And his first quality we say is Arahang. Arahang or Arahant. This is just a grammatical presentation. Arahant. Actually what it means is Arahant, but because of grammar, it becomes Arahang. We will not touch into the Pali grammar. So his Arahang means he's worthy and accomplished one. Correct? He's worthy and accomplished one. We say he's a Samma Sambuddho, meaning he's rightly self-awakened, the enlightened one. Samma Sambuddho. Sambuddho means he is the fully enlightened one. Vidya Charana Sampanno means is endowed with knowledge and conduct. And it's a Sugato means well gone. It's a Loka Vidu means knower of the worlds. And then he's an Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarati. He's an incomparable trainer of those who can be trained. And it's a Satta Deva Manussanang, teacher of gods and men, and gods and humans. Okay, and is a Buddha, the fully awakened one, and is a Bhagava. Okay, T is ending of every stanza. They have the word extra T. Is the Bhagava. Okay, so Bhagava means is the blessed, exalted one. So if we can remember this in English, it's very good. He's worthy of he's worthy, he's accomplished, he's worthy and accomplished one, he's the enlightened one, he's endowed with knowledge and conduct, he's well gone, he's knower of the worlds, he's incomparable trainer of those who can be trained, he's the teacher of gods and men, of gods and humans, he's the awakened one, and he's the blessed one. If you can remember that, it's very good, because this you have to remember. But like I've always recommended, if you learn to chant the Itipiso, we will be starting a new class for beginners. Those who have not chanted before, we will start with the Pali phonetics, with the Pali alphabet. I think sometime in March, after I finish my session with you all, then I will start on Wednesday night. For those beginners, probably it'll just be about 4 weeks plus 4 weeks course. That's all. And then once you're ready to chant, then you can join the Tuesday class, or you can join the Thursday class or the Sunday class. They are more advanced. So I'm starting one on Wednesday in March, middle of March, I guess, whereby we will learn from the basic again. Many of us in this group have already attended the basic. It's good enough for the basic, but if you're interested, you can pursue and continue with the Tuesday, Thursday, or Sunday class. So, but if you can remember this, like I've always recommended, chant this in Pali every morning, which is very beneficial. From my notes, I've told you that it is said in the Dajaga Sutta, Mamang Hiho Bhikkave Anusaratang. Monks, if you think of me, yang bhavisati bayang va chambitatang va romahangso va so pahihisati. That means the Buddha says, monk, if you think of me, any fear or terror or hair standing on ends that may arise in you will pass away. Right? That means if you can chant Itipiso, it helps you to overcome your fear. Sometimes we feel uncomfortable alone in the dark, uncomfortable alone in a new place. So the Buddha recommends that we chant his 9 virtues and you will feel comfortable. Huh? He says that if you any fear or terror or hair raising on ends that may arise in you will pass away. This is in the Jaga Sutta. Jaga Sutta, if you read that, the Buddha says that Mamang hivo bhikkave anusratang yang bhavisati bayangva chambit tatang va lo mahangso va so pahiyisati. Okay? So remember this itipiso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vidya charana sampanno sugato loka vidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati satta deva manusanang buddho bhagavati. So it helps you to overcome any fear you have. Okay? So that is the purpose of reciting the 9 virtues of the Buddha. Yeah. Our syllabus does not call for the virtues of the Dhamma, the 6 virtues of the Dhamma and 9 virtues of the Sangha. So it focuses only on the 9 virtues of the Buddha. So we shall go a little bit more in detail on these virtues of the Buddha. Right? Because it becomes very critical for our syllabus. Yeah. Okay. So the first quality of the Buddha, which says Itipiso Bhagava. So it is, he is an Arahant. Okay. Arahang. Okay. So he's an Arahang. Huh? So but the principal word is arahant, or arahat, or arahanta. Yeah. So in Sanskrit is arahant, in Pali is arhat. Okay, or arahanta. Okay. So he is a worthy one, accomplished, perfect, and worthy of homage. So he's worthy of homage. You see, my son is blocking me. I got to shift this a bit. Okay, so we start again. So he's an Arahant, meaning Arahang is, the word Arahant I told you is from the Pali word Arahanta. Arahanta meaning one who has attained the maximum, Sammam Gunam, one who has completely overcome the 3 poisons of greed, hatred, and delusion. Okay? And then, okay, so Arahang is a compound word made out of Ari, enemy, and Hatha, destroyed. Which enemies are destroyed? The enemies of Nibbana, which is greed, hatred, and delusion. When one reaches a state of Arahanta, is living and experiencing Nibbana. What do you mean by that? Experiencing Nibbana. What do you mean by experiencing Nibbana? Because there are two types of Nibbana. Buddhism is only religion that says that you can taste your heaven, the ultimate. Other religions believe in the heavens. Of course, there's the ultimate. For us, our ultimate is Nibbana. Heavens is just one of the level of heavens that we have. So, but we say that our religion is the only religion that says that you don't have to die to experience your heaven, right? You don't have to die to experience Nibbana. Sa upadi se nibbana, experiencing nibbana with the aggregates. This happened when one attained nibbana. Buddhism is the only religion when one could experience nibbana or the ultimate heaven without dying. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, we'll come. I think the next explanation I have covered that. Okay, so what do you mean by that? So the next nibbana we have is Anupadisesa Nibbana, experiencing Nibbana upon death, no more aggregates. Want to experience Nibbana with our aggregates, meaning with this body. When we are alive, we can experience Nibbana. Or when we die and we experience Nibbana. So ours is the only religion that's got category number 1, to experience our Nibbana with our body. Meaning we can experience the ultimate even when we are living. We don't have to die to experience Nibbana, okay? And what does that mean? Meaning that because when we have a path of enlightenment, we say that first you become a stream enterer, that is Sotapanna, the first stage of sainthood. That means we have eradicated the three factors, the wrong view of self on self. We have actually not fully eradicated. I don't think we can fully eradicate the view of self, because this is self is a cause for your ego. Correct? I don't think it is the completely to remove the idea of self, but at least to come into the idea that self don't exist, that we are made out of the five aggregates. And you come into that as one of the qualification of a stream enterer. Correct? That means we don't believe in ourselves so much anymore. Because I sometimes tend to believe that self is also ego. And ego you cannot let go all until you have attained the arahanta, until you become an arahant. Ego will always remain even when you are a once returner, even when you're a non-returner. Ego still lingers with us until we have become an arahant. So from this part, I would say that we have not fully eradicated the wrong view of self, but we are already into it now. Okay, and then we have no more doubt in the triple gem. Okay, that was why we say that we take refuge in the Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Sanghang Saranang Gacchami, Dutiyampi, Tatiyampi. Correct? That's why we take refuge in him, and then we recite again Itipiso, because we want to reaffirm that we are taking refuge full-heartedly with full conviction. And actually, we have no more doubts in him. We have no more doubt in the Buddha. We have no more doubt with his Dhamma. We have no more doubt with his Sangha. Must be complete, this one you can complete, have full faith in the Buddha. You can have full faith in the Dhamma. You can have full faith in the Sangha. Okay, so that's where you recite the Itipiso and then Swakato and Supatipano, which is not in our syllabus. Okay, and then you don't believe in any more rites and rituals here. We don't believe in any more rites and rituals. Rites and rituals here does not mean we don't believe in our Sunday puja, we don't believe in our new moon and full moon puja, we don't believe in our Bhujanga puja. It does not mean that. It means here, because during the time of the Buddha, there are many strange rites and rituals, like animal sacrifice, those kind of rites and rituals. The more animals you can sacrifice, you can overcome all these kind of bad influences, bad planetary influences. It helps you to go to higher heavens. The more you can offer, the more you get, these kind of things were all the belief during the time of the Buddha. These rites and rituals are the ones the Buddha is saying that you must get rid of. You must not believe, but there are also rites and rituals where people behave like animals. Remember, we said before, people behave like dogs. They start barking around. They walk on their feet and their legs. They walk on fours, and they behave like dogs, and they eat rubbish and eat whatever they can, or they behave like cows and eat grass. So these kinds of rites and rituals, the Buddha says, get rid of them. And again, people who believe in self-mortification, people believe in extreme kind of pleasures, the Buddha says these rites and rituals are the ones you give up. You can give up this. I think it's quite easy for us to give up. Isn't it? If we don't believe in something, that we say, when we chant our puja, meaning to say that we're reaffirming our belief in the Buddha, we're transferring merits to our loved ones, to the devas. Who are the devas? A question was asked. Somebody asked me, why do we need to transfer merits to the devas? Who are these devas? So let's ask ourselves again, who are these devas? Sometimes these devas are our ancestors. Some of these devas are our ancestors. So that is why we need to transfer dedicate merits to them, so that they will realize that we are doing a lot of good in their name. They become very happy. And then they will continue to do good in their state, whatever state they are, they will continue to do good, and that can help them, and eventually we hope that they too will attain the bliss of Nibbana. So that's why we dedicate merits to our protective devas, where they can be our ancestors. Ancestors we have never met before. Ancestors does not mean only our grandfather, our grandmother, great-grandfather, great-grandmother, many generations ago. So this, I think we can easily give up. I'm sure none of us are practicing this kind of rites and rituals anymore. So as long as That does not mean that we don't chant on Sundays, we don't chant on new moon, full moon, we don't do the Bojanga chanting. Those are not rites and rituals. Those are recitation of the teachings of the Buddha. We are reciting the teachings of the Buddha so that our mind become concentrated and we accrue abundance of merits, and these merits again we dedicate to our protective devas or our loved ones who have passed away. If they are born in the unfortunate state of existence, and we hope that these merits can help them. So we are not doing it as a simply blind rites and rituals. We are doing it full of meaning. So even when in our unison chanting session, when we learn to chant, we also will try to understand the meaning of the suttas that we chant. We do not chant the mantras. Remember, we don't chant mantras. We chant suttas. Theravada Buddhists chant suttas, which are the teachings of the Buddha. The teachings of the Buddha are kept intact through these suttas. Okay, so that is stream enterer. Once we give up all these silly rites and rituals, we believe in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and we start believing that this self is not a permanent entity. That's what it means by wrong view of self. Yeah, many people think that this self is a permanent entity. Yeah, we think that this is our soul, which is created by somebody very superior than us. And then when we die, eventually, after rounds of birth and rebirth, this soul will return to the Creator. And that is the wrong view of self. Okay, we don't believe that this self is a permanent entity. And that is our view on self. Okay, any questions on this part? Yeah, Dr. Kwa.
I want to ask two questions.
Yep.
One is just now, Brother Tan Leng Huat mentioned mantra. I've been brought up the Theravada Buddhist way, so I'm not familiar. What is a mantra and what is the purpose of a mantra?
Okay. Mantras. Okay, there is one question. Second question.
Second question is, can you explain again the two types of nibbana, Sapupadisesa nibbana and the other nibbana? The other one, is it the pari nibbana?
Okay. Okay, so coming to mantras, first, isn't it?
Yes.
Mantras, okay, example of a mantra is Om Mani Padme Om. Those are like, actually mantras can be very good sound therapy also lah. We are not saying they're completely of no use, since we don't do that, does not mean that it's no good lah. But other people may do mantras because those are like sound therapy. It helps you for your concentration and then, things like that lah. So those doesn't carry any teachings lah. Right? Example, like Om Mani Padme Om. They will recite that, for a numerous number of times. So, but it does not actually carry any teachings. They have put meaning to the Om Mani Padme Om, but does not mean that it carries the teachings of the Buddha. Okay, Om Mani Padme Om is a very good example, or other kind of sound therapy. They just do Om, things like
I
that.
have a friend, she told me she practices transcendental meditation.
Yes.
And then she says she go and talk to her guru, and then the guru will give each of them their own personal mantra.
Yes.
And then she said, I cannot tell you my mantra is secret one.
Yes.
And then it sounds like the mantra is special and beneficial, something like that.
Yes. Those people, if they believe in sound therapy, they think that it helps them lah. So they only learn a certain rhythm, that's all lah. Example, a very good example is very common is Om Mani Padme Om, isn't it? You notice that people will recite this when they go to Vajrayana temple. Om Mani Padme Om is very, very powerful mantra lah. So mantras are like that lah. Only words only lah. Doesn't carry actual meaning actually. Those are called mantras. So Theravada Buddhists, we do not have mantras. Ours are all sutras.
Oh, mantra is they chant the same thing again and again.
Yes. It's a sound therapy lah.
evoking some benefits. Okay.
Yes, yes. We won't say that it is completely useless, lah. You know, people do that and then they think they get benefit. But we are saying that we do suttas because these are the teachings of the Buddha. When we chant the Itipiso, we know that these are the 9 virtues of the Buddha. It is not a mantra. It's not just Itipiso Bhagava Araham Samma Sambuddho, then becomes very nice, very poetic. No, it carries the teachings of the Buddha. It means the 9 virtues of the Buddha. So every sutta carries a meaning, but the mantras may not or do not carry the meaning. It's only sound therapy. Many people go for that sound therapy. I call it like sound therapy. Sometimes it helps people maybe. It helps them to get into fast concentration. Just like the Mahayana, they have got their wooden crab, they call it, isn't it? Pop, 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 and then they recite, you know, so that helps them get into concentration very fast. It helps them to calm their mind quickly. But we are not so desperate in that area. We will chant the suttas and we try to understand the meaning of the suttas. Because these are how the teachings of the Buddha were kept intact. The suttas, I call it suttas but commonly people say sutras Sutras is a Sanskrit word. Okay, so the suttas are the way that the teachings of the Buddha was kept intact for the past 2,600 years. It was kept intact. It was kept intact through the suttas. So that's how we have got the teachings intact. Those days they do it by the Barnacle system, by verbal. So they learn it by heart this way. Easier to memorize this in the poetic form than to realize this in the other format. Correct? So that's why it is written in the poetic form. The Buddha also gave the summary in the poetic form so that Ananda can remember it. So suttas are in a very poetic form, but they carry the teachings of the Buddha. That is one. The next one is we are talking about the 2 Nibbanas. Okay. The Nibbanas we say is Sa Upadisesa Nibbana is actually when one is an Arahant. When you are an Arahant, you are already living in Nibbana because you are living without greed, hatred, and delusion. All right? It is to live this life without any greed, without any hatred, without any delusion is Nibbana. Can we do that? If we can do that, we are already Arahant. But we still have that greed in us. Sometimes we do get angry, right? In life, we do get angry. We do dislike things here and there, not that severe hatred, but we still have got this greed, hatred, delusion in us. But this has been with us for many, many, many lives. So it's not so easy. So our target as a Buddhist is to give up greed, hatred, and delusion. That is our primary target. When you give up greed, hatred, and delusion, you are experiencing Nibbana with these 5 aggregates, with this body of ours. You are an Arahant. Okay, so we'll come to that a bit later. And then the Anupa-disasa Nibbana. Maybe when you pronounce, you got to put the Anupa. Anupa-disasa Nibbana is actually experiencing Nibbana after you die. That's when you die, you go to Nibbana. So our consciousness is already in Nibbana. That means we go without our body. We experience Nibbana. We are in the state of mind without greed, hatred, delusion. That is Nibbana. Nibbana is to live without greed, hatred, delusion. So you clear your consciousness out from greed, hatred, delusion. That is Nibbana. So one is to experience it when you are an Arahant. The other one is to experience it when you die. You either go to Nibbana. You can go now, or else you wait until we die. We may give up all this attachment.
Brother Tan Leng Huat, the Anupadisesa Nibbana, is it like I heard they say, if a person is a Sotapan and the person is only in the path but not in the fruit, does that mean that upon death, then that Sotapan achieves the fruit? Does that mean that?
Okay, there are 2 ways to achieve Nibbana. One way is when we are living today. When you achieve an Arahanthood, when you become an Arahant, That is Nibbana. You're experiencing Nibbana. Okay, if you are enrolled to Nibbana, you say if you are Anagami or Sotapanna and all that, you have got certain conditions. Some say that you got another 7 births, that is the maximum. If you're Sotapanna, you got 7 births as a maximum, or you're a non-returner, you got 1 more birth, or you're a returner, things like that. But does not mean that this 7 births means you got 7 more births. Does not mean that. If you are already a Sotapanna, a maximum of 7 more births, then you become enlightened. That is the forecast. But you can be enlightened also in 1 more birth. You can also be enlightened when you die. Okay, example, King Suddhodana became an arahant before he died. Correct?
Yes.
So that means he's
That one
experienced
is
Nibbana both,
Anupadisesa Nibbana.
Yes. That is
Oh.
the second part, but the first part is actually, there is a third part. I didn't want to complicate things. There is a third Nibbana is when you experience this upon death. That means you are experiencing it with the body and then you die. Then you go to Nibbana. But okay, I made it only 2 so it's easier to understand. Okay, so people like King Suddhodana became an arahant or went to Nibbana when he died. Remember?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So he did all that upon his dying breath, like became a Sotapanna, Anagami, all in one go, and then became Arahant straight. Yeah. So he now is in Nibbana, we call it. That means quite difficult for us to understand Nibbana. Sometimes we just say that he is in Nibbana as though Nibbana is a place. Nibbana is not a place, it's a state of mind. But for us to understand Nibbana is quite difficult. I know the story of the tortoise and the fish. For us to understand Nibbana without the 5 senses, quite difficult. When we want to believe in something, we must make sure we can see, or we can hear, or we can feel, or we can smell, or we can taste. Correct? These 5 conditions are already ingrained in us. Without these 5 conditions, we say we exist without these 5 conditions, it's quite difficult for us to imagine. So that's why we find it difficult to explain what is Nibbana. We say it's a state of mind. Sometimes people say it's a state of mind, Correct?
But this Nibbana is, we are talking about only Arahana. Yeah.
Yeah, Arahant are actually experiencing Nibbana already when they are alive. That is why, okay, that's why we say that Nibbana, Arahant do not create any more karma. Remember, Arahant does not carry any more karma because I have it somewhere. Okay, I'm not sure. So Arahant, yes, okay, here. So Arahant does not accumulate any more karma because his actions are not rooted in ignorance and craving. Right? You see, if a person still has greed, hatred, delusion, he still has craving. So when you have craving, what is the cause of the karma? Okay, we write the word karma, I think we use the word karma. It's okay, but in the exam, I think we can use either Sanskrit karma and means you maintain all the way, or don't. Karma means you say nirvana, you say karma is nibbana. So, okay, so Arahant is free from the actions are not rooted. Why they don't accumulate new karma? Why do Arahants do not accumulate new karma? Okay, but they will live to finish off their past karma. They have got a past karma. The Buddha also got past karma. He has to die from food poisoning. He died from food poisoning. But his actions after he was enlightened does not carry any more karma because his actions are not rooted in ignorance and craving. There's no more greed, hatred, and delusion in him. He's free from continuity and becoming free from defilements. Correct? So when a person is free from greed, hatred, delusion, our actions are not volitional, does not carry karma because karma is defined as volitional action. Action we do with intention. Actions we do consciously. Actions we do with a purpose. Volitional action. Correct? So volitional action is defined as karma. Karma is defined as volitional action. Actions which are not rooted in ignorance and craving. Actions that are done without the idea of greed, without the idea of hatred, without the idea of ignorance. Don't carry karma. Correct? So arahants have given up greed, hatred, delusion. Therefore, their actions are not rooted in ignorance and craving, and they don't carry karma anymore. However, they still will continue with the past karma that they were accrued before they were arahants. In the past life, Moggallana also did some very bad things. He killed his parents, so he has to die. He knows that he has to die a very gory death, whereby the robbers came to kill him. The Buddha knew that he's going to die from food poisoning because of his previous karma. That they have to finish off, that complete. But they don't create any more karma in the next birth. So that is what we mean. So an arahant, when you have no more greed, hatred, delusion, you are like a saint. You live just, and all your actions are called kiriya. All the actions don't carry karma. They are called kiriya, functional actions. You do it for functional purposes, not with any intention. That is defined as kiriya. And for the Buddha, after he was enlightened, all his actions are called kiriya. That does not carry any more karma. If his actions carry karma, he will continue with the samsaric cycle again. Correct? He's not fully enlightened. He's not an arahant. Correct? Arahant means you don't carry any more greed, hatred, delusion in you, whereby your actions are free from all this. Therefore, they are not called karma. They are called kiriya. Kiriya means functional only. Whatever you do are only functional. They do not produce any karmic effect at all. They have gone beyond actions rooted in attachment. You see, the actions are free from pride and free from self-exertion. So the Buddha's teaching on karma is not that ultimately we should aim simply to eliminate unwholesome karma. Don't forget now, our life actually, yes, for us, we say we do wholesome deeds, avoid unwholesome deeds. But when you want as an arahant, your actions are neither black nor white. Today, we are talking about only white actions. We are talking that we try to do only good actions so that we will have better rebirth. Right? Bad actions mean bad rebirth. So, but to end this samsaric cycle is to do actions which are neither black nor white. Meaning to say that your actions become like kiriyas only, functional only. No black, no white action. I'm not doing it because it is good. I'm not avoiding it because it is bad. I'm doing it because as a functional action. I give you a good example what do you mean by this. I think it's very complicated, I know. Okay, what do you mean by kiriyas, functional? I look at this stanza here, isn't it? The deeds of a saint are said to be kiriya, functional, meaning he has gone beyond both good and evil. Okay, now good actions we will classify as white lah. Better easier to understand. Our actions are three: white or black, white and black. Correct? It's either white or it's black. It's white and black, or it's neither black nor white. Correct? Okay, what do you mean by this lah? You know, white means we do good things, right? We born, we get better rebirth. Bad things, bad rebirth. Good and bad. Sometimes we do good things, sometimes we do bad things. They are also combined. Sometimes our life becomes like that lah. Sometimes good, sometimes bad lah. Okay. Now, what is neither good nor bad? Now, if you take a feather, example, the good example is to take a feather. You take a feather, feather is lifeless, correct not? Feather is lifeless. You put the feather near the flame. You put the feather near the flame. What happens? The feather will coil away from the flame, correct? Correct? If you put a feather near the flame, you put a candle and put a feather near, it will coil away. Correct? Now, this feather has no life. Correct? Why does it coil away from the flame? It's functional. Is it? It is functional. Is it? because one part will expand, it just calls around, not because it's afraid of the flame. The feather is not afraid of the flame. The feather has no life, no feeling, but functionally it just avoids. So when we say that an arahant's actions are kiriya, so the arahants don't do things that they think is good, don't do things that they avoid things that they think is bad. They do it as a function. They see a sick person, they go and attend to the sick person as a function. You need to help the sick, you need to nurse the sick. Not because, oh, I want to get good karma, I'm arahant, I want more karma, and I help the sick. No. Then he is not an arahant yet. He should do things without any intention of getting any value, like any reward. So that is called kiriyas. Huh? And then you see some of these insects, they're attracted to light. Remember, some insects, when you put light, they will come, So when you burn an open fire, all the insects will just jump into the fire. See? Not because they want to die, because it's a function. They're attracted to fire. Automatically, they want to put out the fire. Automatically, the mind says put out the fire. They just go and jump into the fire, So some insects are attracted to fire. They merely jump into the fire, not because they want to commit suicide, because it is a function. That is the state that we want to be in, whereby we do things as a function. And that is called kiriyas, and that does not bring any karma. Okay? Okay, sister?
Okay, thank you.
Where will we now? How do I go back? Okay, I think we are quite comprehensive on the arahant, isn't it?
Yes. Very
I
good.
think we are quite okay. We have not discussed a bit. This you can read, there's no problem,
Brother Tan.
Okay.
Brother Tan,
Yes.
back to the mantra just now. We are talking about Om. Now, there are lots of monks, forest monks, who always recommend that when we are meditating and we get distracted, we chant Buddho, Buddho. Is that also another mantra?
Yes. Yes. That's why I say mantras help you actually to calm your mind now. We are not saying it's complete, but we only chant suttas. Suttas are teachings of the Buddha. We are not superstitious people. Yes, mantras do help us. For the Mahayana, the wooden crab and the bell helps them get into concentration fast, into samadhi very fast. Yeah, they go pop, 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 you get into samadhi very fast. When the bell ting, 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 very nice and very soothing. Yes, it helps. So sound therapy, those are sound therapy. So Buddho, Buddho, Buddho is actually a mantra. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. For those people, sometimes I also encourage them. Sometimes when we are frightened, sometimes when we are in the situation where you will tend to forget Namo Tassa Bhagavato Samma Sambuddhassa, When you panic now, you will forget. So we hope that you won't forget Buddho, Buddho, Buddho. That is another way to calm yourself down. Then when you are more composed, then you go back to Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. It helps you to be composed. So these are called mantras. But once you are ready, you quickly go back to your suttas and then chant your suttas. Okay, so Samma Sambuddho. So the next quality of the Buddha. So Itipiso Bhagava Arahang. Then the second quality is, first is an Arahant. Second quality is Samma Sambuddho. Samma Sambuddhassa. Okay. So this one means it's a Samma Sambuddho. We say that this means to discover and understand fully the Four Noble Truths without any aid of a teacher. He realized it himself. So some people may ask us, where do you get this from? How do you know he don't have a teacher and all that? So if you can refer to the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, it says here, Idang Dukkang Arya Satchanti Me Bhikkave Pubbe Ananussute sudhammesu Cakung udapadi, Nyanang udapadi, Panya udapadi, Vidya udapadi, Aloko udapadi. So if I were to chant this smoothly, it will be Idang dukkang arya satchanti me bhikkave pukve ananussute sudhammesu. Cakung udapadi, Nyanang udapadi, Panya udapadi, Vidya udapadi, Aloko udapadi. So it's easier for me to memorize when I chant. But otherwise, you have to remember that what does it mean? That stanza means the Buddha says, this suffering is the noble truth. Arya Satchanti me bhikkave puppe. So the Buddha said, this suffering is a noble truth that arose in me concerning things never heard before. Ananussute sudhammesu, Dhamma that has never been heard before. Don't worry, the Buddha has reaffirmed for us that Ananussute sudhammesu, this Dhamma has never been heard before. Meaning that he did not learn it from anybody. So if anybody says that Buddhism is certain religion modified, sometimes I do hear my friend tell me this is actually Hinduism modified. Sometimes I hear macam-macam lah. But we tell them that the Buddha says this very clearly, Idang dukkang arya satchanti me bhikkave. This suffering is the noble truth that arose in me. Okay? And the Buddha says, Pukbe ananussute sudhammesu. This Dhamma has never been heard before. Okay? Such was the vision, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the science and the light. Okay? So we tell them, no, the Buddha's teaching of the Four Noble Truths can only be found in his teachings, in his Dhamma, or in short, we say it's only found in Buddhism. Buddhism is the only teaching, only religion that has the Four Noble Truths. No other religion in the world has the Four Noble Truths. Okay? And this is, you can quote it from the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, and we can even convince ourselves today. Tell us which religion has the Four Noble Truths. And Buddhism is the only religion where the Buddha is so concerned about overcoming suffering. Buddhism is the only religion, and the Buddha's purpose is actually to seek this, to find the solution of suffering. That was his main intention. So we tell them that no, if you can quote this, if you chant the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, then you can quote this stanza by heart, which is not difficult for me because I chant this quite regularly. Idang dukkang arya satchanti me bhikkave pukve ananussute sudhammesu. Cakung udapadi, Nyanang udapadi, Panya udapadi, Vidya udapadi, Aloko udapadi. So I can just write it down in Pali lah, in Romanized Pali. Okay, so we know that Samma Sambuddha means the Buddha discovered this by himself. He has no teacher that taught him the Four Noble Truths, and we can quote the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta here. Yeah. Okay. Then, okay. So down is it clear? Samma Sambuddha means he does not have any teacher. There are three ways for enlightenment. I didn't put it down. There are three ways to be enlightened. One is to be a Samma Sambuddha. That means fully enlightened by yourself. With no teachers, and you carry the Dhamma with you. You have a philosophy. You have a teaching to help others. That is called a Samma Sambuddha. There is also a Pacceka Buddha. Pacceka Buddhas are also fully enlightened. Pacceka Buddhas are fully enlightened, except that they are called silent Buddha because they do not carry on teaching people with the Dhamma. When they became enlightened, they remain in the forest and then they just enjoy the bliss of Nibbana until they die lah, and then they go to Nibbana lah. So that's called the Pacheka Buddha. They are also fully enlightened. There's a second category of enlightenment. And of course, the third category is what we aspire to be an Arahant. We hope to be an Arahant. That is our aspiration, whereby we become enlightened through the teachings of a Samma Sambuddha. That is an Arahant. They become enlightened through the teachings of the Samma Sambuddha. That is our aspiration. We want to be enlightened through the teachings of our Sakyamuni Buddha, Gautama Buddha. Okay, that is our aspiration. Yeah. So there are three kinds of enlightenment here. One is enlightened as a Samma Sambuddhasa, which is actually our Sakyamuni Buddha, or you become enlightened as a Pacheka Buddhas. There are many of them. There are, I don't know, maybe there are also millions of them also, billions maybe also, Samma Sambuddha, and also there are Arahants. They are the three levels of enlightenment. Okay. Any question on that? Okay, then the third quality of the Buddha, is a Vijja Charana Sampanno. Vijja Charana Sampanno. Yeah. So Vijja is actually knowledge. Charana would be his actions, his conduct. Sampanno. So his knowledge and conduct. His knowledge and conduct, or theory and practice of the Buddha. The Buddha is endowed with both. He says as he acts, and he does what he says. The Buddha does not do something in front of you and talk about something in front of you and then do something behind you. The Buddha says what it is now, and he behaves the same thing behind you and in front of you. He's not the kind of person who says something in front of you, something else behind you. Sorry. Okay, so the Buddha is knowledge. What do you mean by knowledge? Okay, there are many ways to define. Please, I'm just giving you a way to define. This is enough to pass your exam. But there are many ways to define what is knowledge and all that. Vidya means knowledge. Avidya means ignorance. Avidya Pachaya Sankara. That is in the Paticca Samuppada. Avidya means ignorance. Vidya means knowledge. So knowledge here. If you need to explain what is Vijja Charana Sampanno, you say knowledge. And the Buddha's knowledge to end the cycle of life and death. Two kinds of knowledge the Buddha has here. We have got two kinds of knowledge. The Buddha's knowledge, one knowledge is called the mundane knowledge. Many of us, we overlook at the mundane knowledge. We always think of supramundane knowledge all the time. The Buddha knows about worldly knowledge to survive peacefully in this world. Knowledge about compassion. Knowledge about loving kindness. Knowledge about altruistic joy and equanimity. Leading to living mindfully with nature and others. Live and let live, creating a conducive environment, a moral and ethical way. Yeah, we can quote this in your a lot of these sutras that we learn about. What's the name of the sutta? I can't remember now. Sister Kwa, you remember? Those sutras where the Buddha teach you how to live, how to respect your teachers, how to respect your parents.
There is the Mangala Sutta.
Okay, Mangala Sutta also is a sutta for mundane living, yes.
And the Karaneya Metta Sutta.
Okay, Karaniya also it can be used, So you can quote all this, and some more. About the young boy who were actually prostrating in the north and the south and
Sigalo Wada Sutta.
Oh.
Sorry?
Sigalo Wada Sutta.
Yes, okay, you can also quote the Sigalo Vada Sutta. The Buddha teaches how to live, how to respect our parents, how to respect our teachers, how to respect our ancestors, correct? And there's another one, Diga Janu Sutta. Diga Janu, where the Buddha taught us how to earn the money how to save the money, how to spend the money, how to invest the money. Jiga Janu, the Buddha says that we must put in effort. When we work, we must be very, very ambitious. We have to work hard, put in correct effort and then keep right company. So these are the qualities taught by the Buddha, the mundane knowledge. Let's not forget. So sometimes we tend to overlook at this kind of mundane knowledge that the Buddha is teaching us. We focus more on spiritual, So we have to focus, particularly people like Dr. Kwa, who is teaching the Sunday school, attracting youth to the temple. These mundane teachings can attract them. Teach them how to have ambition. Teach us that as long as we can have ambition, but our ambition doesn't offend people, we don't step on people to succeed, things like that. All the inspiring things that the Buddha can teach and the Buddha has taught. So these are the mundane knowledge. Sigalovada Sutta, the Karaniya Metta Sutta, the Mangala Sutta, many other suttas. There are many suttas where the Buddha teaches how to live a mundane life. Jiva Janu Sutta, etc. So there are many more. But you don't have to quote so many lines. In your exam, you just have to quote one or two Mangala or quote Sigalovada Sutta, Jiva Janu Sutta. That'll be very good. So we can say that the Buddha has these two kinds of knowledge, like helps us to actually overcome all this. But we tend to focus more on supramundane, thinking always on Nibbana, meditation for Nibbana all the time. But we may not attract our youth.
Oh yeah, last year, Brother Yap taught us the Parabhava Sutta and the Vasala Sutta. Also a lot about how to be moral and how to be good parents.
Yes, Parabhava Sutta are the sutta about how you fall, isn't it? The conditions that cause people to fall. Having young wives and all those things are correct. So that those are suttas. It's called the suttas conditions for downfall. So we can have all that. Yes, we quote all that. So if you want to quote, just quote a few suttas, and these are the things that actually are very conducive for us today. These are the things that is conducive. The two powerful tools the Buddha has taught us, we can say this also, for me, is the two most powerful tools the Buddha has taught us is metta and karuna. Correct? We always practice our metta and karuna. These are the two most important tools for us. If you can radiate metta every day, think of metta, think of doing good, think of loving people, think of expanding or loving kindness, I think there you can venture into many levels, spiritual levels also. Spiritual level does not mean that we must sit and focus on only spirituality. By performing and radiating metta alone, I think we can experience a lot of spiritual goodness also. Correct? So let us not forget, the two most powerful tools the Buddha has given to us is metta and karuna. Of course, we can expand that. I don't think we will expand that, but you can expand on metta. How can metta help you in this mundane world? I'm sure you can write a whole thesis on this on metta. Or how can karuna help you? How does metta and karuna comes to play? Why is metta and karuna the two most important tools in us? With us. So the Buddha has equipped us with two important weapons actually. Two important weapons for us. The Buddha gave us metta and karuna. And when the 500 monks who went to practice the meditation in the forest were disturbed by the three deities, remember? When they were disturbed by the three deities, they came back to the Buddha, they said, we surrender, we cannot do that. The three deities, banyak kacau at night. And the Buddha says, I did not equip you with some weapon. Let me give you the weapon now. So the Buddha gave them the weapon of metta. So metta is a very important weapon for us. So the Buddha tell them, yes, now equip yourself with this weapon. I give you this new weapon, the weapon called metta. And they went back to the forest with metta, and the three deities were so happy with them, they even helped them to unpack, helped them to carry their luggage, make the place very conducive for them. And then they all became Arahant, all 500. Yeah. So that is the power of metta. So that's why I say these are the two important weapons that we have from the Buddha. Okay. And then the supramundane knowledge, you can say knowledge of the path for liberation, knowledge of the Eightfold Path, and further practices and thinking developing in one's liberation, understanding of anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Yeah. The tilakkhana, dukkha, anicca, anatta. Yeah. No self-concept on Buddhism. These facilitates the complete understanding of suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation to the cause of suffering, and the path to the end of suffering called Nibbana. So the Buddha gave us this supramundane knowledge also. Supramundane knowledge of tilakkhana, we call it. In Pali, it's called tilakkhana of anicca, dukkha, and anatta. And what is the impermanence and how does impermanence, idea of impermanence help us? The dukkha help us, and how does self-concept, anatta, no self-concept, and these will help us to understand or completely understand suffering and the cause of suffering and the cessation of suffering and the path leading to suffering, at the end of suffering. Okay. So that is a supramundane knowledge taught by the Buddha to us. Okay, any question from here? Anybody has any question from here? Or want to add in also, please? Okay, there's a question here, sorry, in the chat group by Tan Leng Huat, is it? How does a Pacheka Buddha gain enlightenment? Is it through meditation? This one I cannot answer. You can give a guess if you want, because Pacheka Buddha does not teach. Pacheka Buddha, they become enlightened also on their own. They're called the Buddha. They also become enlightened on their own. Yes, if you ask me, my guess is through meditation, because many of them went to the forest and became enlightened also, but they do not teach. They do not have the theory to teach. So they are called Pacheka Buddhas. So the question of whether they do it through meditation or not, we cannot say for sure it is and it is not, because they do not teach. They did not tell us how they become enlightened. They just enlightened by themselves, and they are just followed by the Isigala mountains. Remember Isigala, isn't it? In the Isigala Sutta, remember all the Arahants, they went to the mountain and the mountain will swallow them. They said, but they never came out of the mountain. They all became Pacheka Buddhas and they never came back. So I cannot really tell you that whether it's meditation or otherwise, but as I wouldn't say guess, but if you put the facts together in the jungle and they go there in the forest, I'm sure it is meditation. But I cannot say that 100% I'm correct, because Pacheka Buddhas doesn't teach, so you will not know. But they are fully enlightened, yes.
Brother Tan,
yeah.
The Pacheka Buddha will not appear when there is a Sammasambuddha or during the sasana.
Yeah, no. Many of them appear, yes. But they do not learn from the Buddha's teaching. If they are learning from the Buddha's teaching, they become Arahant. It is on their own. Maybe they are ignorant of what the Buddha has taught. During the time of the Buddha also, there are many Pacheka Buddhas who were in the forest. They went out and then they all became Buddhas, but they never came back to teach. Only
they didn't learn from the historical Buddha.
No, they did not learn from anybody also. That's why they're called Buddhas. So they are Pacheka Buddhas. They became enlightened on their own, but they do not carry a big Dhamma to come and teach us, or they just simply don't want to teach us. Okay. Our Buddha also almost did not come out to teach, remember?
Yeah, until the
Sahampati. Until Brahma Sahampati persuaded him. Not really persuaded him, reminded him to go and teach. You say you have a big theory, to go and teach people. There are people who you can understand.
But our Buddha was already predicted to be a Sammasambuddha.
Yes, correct. Yes.
So there is no turning back for him.
Okay.
In that way lah.
Okay, those are conditions for a Samma Sambuddha. A condition for somebody to become a Samma Sambuddha, he must be predicted lah. He must have been predicted by previous Samma Sambuddha. And then it is also his duty to predict the next Samma Sambuddha. Correct? That's why Maitreya Buddha has been predicted by our Buddha, Maitreya Buddha, or we call it Maitreya Buddha, who is now in Tusita heaven, waiting to be reborn when the Dhamma is completely lost. When there's no more Dhamma, only the Samma Sambuddha will appear, or somebody will become a Samma Sambuddha. Samma Sambuddha only when there is no Buddha. Yes. But Pachaka Buddhas, no. If you read through the Isigili Sutta, I think, there are 500 or thousands of them will be swallowed by the Isigili mountain. Meaning to say that they all went to Isigili mountain there and then they went did their meditation, I guess, and then they all became Pachaka Buddhas. They never came out anymore. They did not come out. So we say that the mountain swallowed many of the Pachaka Buddhas in the Isigili Sutta, I think. I'm just telling you offhand, but I think it's Isigili Sutta, whereby the mountain swallowed all the Pachaka Buddhas, they say, meaning that they went to the mountain there and then they became enlightened as Pachaka Buddhas. They never came out again from that place. So they do exist during the time of a Buddha, yes, but they don't learn from him lah. They do not learn the Four Noble Truths from him. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? Anyway, we're not rushing. Don't worry, because this time we'll be stretching this for 3 weeks. Later, we will come back another round of this. More detail lah. Just touch through the 9 qualities today. Okay, so we continue. I hope it's clear up to now. Okay, then we say he's a Sugato. Sugato, sublime, well done, well spoken. Suffix of Sugato means su means prefix for good. Gata means gone. Past participle of no to go. Good to go may be translated as good path, as the middle way, as Majjhima Patipada. Majjhima Patipada means the middle way, avoiding the two extremes of self-indulgence, of sensual pleasure, sukha, kama, sukha, kali, kani, yoga, and the extreme mortification, atta, kila, matan, yoga, leading to nibbana. Reference the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Yeah, Sugato means is a good speaker who is adept in the art of choosing the right words, saying at the right time, and in such a way as will benefit the listener. The Buddha was a master of that. Yeah, he uses similes, parables, metaphors, and all those things to help to explain his Dhamma. For instance, I quoted here for you only 2. For instance, he used the simile of fire, isn't it? You talk about fire, you're burning in you. What is burning in you? Your senses are burning in you. He says all is on fire because the Kassapa brothers are fire worshippers. So the best way is to talk to them about fire. All is burning in you. What do you mean by all is burning in you? Your eyes, your sight, your vision is burning, your hearing, the sound, and the effect of the sound is burning. Your smell is burning in you, your taste is burning in you, your sense, your tactile feelings are burning in you. So the Buddha uses fire for them to understand. Understand our 5 senses that are burning in us. So sometimes the Buddhas are good for this kind of parables and this kind of metaphors, And also the Buddha used the Vina. Vina is the Chinese violin. Those days, they also have the violin there. For Venerable Sona. Venerable Sona was almost giving up the practice. The story here is there was one venerable who was trying very hard with his meditation. He tried very, very hard to do his meditation, but he couldn't achieve anything. So he wanted to give up. So the Buddha knew, through his psychic power that this Venerable Sona is going to give up. He tak boleh tahan really lah. He tried level best very hard. He tried very much through meditation but did not gain anything. So the Buddha appeared before him and the Buddha asked him, yes, Venerable Sona, what I know what you're thinking of. He said, yes. He said, I want to give up. He says, yeah. He says, I've tried very hard and I couldn't actually achieve anything. I've tried very, very hard. And the Buddha says, I know your background as a musician. So Venerable Sona, before he was ordained, he was a musician. He plays the veena. Veena is like a guitar. So Buddha asked him, what happens when the string of your veena is tight? He says when it's tight, it goes out of tune and it may burst. Then the Buddha asked him, what happens if your veena, the string is too loose? He says if the string is loose, it goes out of tune, it doesn't make the correct key. Correct? It goes out of tune. Then the Buddha said, what do you do? I must adjust it accordingly, just right, not too tight and not too loose. Then it becomes tune. Then I can play the music. Then the Buddha says, yes, that is how you should practice. Don't practice too hard, neither don't take it too lightly. Just go the middle way. Practice the level that you can accept only. Don't do too much. You see people do like that, you also want to do like that. People relax, you want to come to relax. Cannot you just do the way it should be done. So the Buddha gave Venerable Sona the example of his veena. He was a musician. So the Buddha says, what happened is your veena string is too tight. He says it will burst. It doesn't make them sound correct. Yes. Then the Buddha asked him again, what happened if the string is too loose? Then Venerable Sona says he won't make the correct tune. It must be correctly tuned. Then he knew what the Buddha was implying. Then he went back to meditation and he became an arahant. So the Buddha uses this kind of metaphor sometimes for people to understand. So that's why he's known as a Sugato. Okay? And also you can see that he challenged the debater and all that. You can quote all those things. He challenged the debater also. Satchaka, isn't it? Satchaka was a very good debater. He challenged the debater also. So these are the things that we can quote as a Sugato. The Buddha is, and then the Buddha always tells us, don't have to say things that may hurt people. We don't say if we cannot hurt people, that doesn't benefit, refrain from saying better. No point saying things that can hurt people. Where possible, avoid this kind of talk. Okay, so that's why he's a good, he's a sublime, well done, well spoken. And then now we come to the place where he's a Loka Vidu. Loka means world, knower of the worlds. Loka. Loka Vidu. So when we chant Itipiso Bhagava Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vidya Charana Sampanno Sugato Loka Vidu. Loka Vidu means he is the knower of the worlds. Knower of the worlds, you can explain as Loka Vidu is a person who knows about the world. What do we mean by Loka? As there are 6 worlds, here we talk about, there are many ways to describe this. By using metaphor, you can say there are 6 worlds, world of hearing, world of smelling, world of tasting, world of touching, and the world of thinking. There are no other worlds than these 6. That's why the Buddha says everything is in this fathom long body. Remember? And they asked the Buddha, when Buddha was asked about beginning of the earth and end of the world, the Buddha says you don't go so far. Don't go and travel for days and days and miles and miles and miles and years and years and years to find the beginning of the world. You won't see the beginning of the world. And you travel forward for days, for years, for months. You also won't see the end of the world. Beginning and end of the world lies in this fathom long body, the Buddha says. Rohitissa Sutta, I think, it is in the Rohitissa Sutta, Rohitissa. So that's where the Buddha says everything is in this fathom long body. What does that mean? That means everything is about our seeing, our hearing, our smelling, our tasting, our touching, and our thinking. And that's exactly what the Buddha taught the Kassapa brothers. All are burning. What is burning? Your seeing is burning, your hearing is burning, your smelling is burning. These are the desires. Fire burning, fire of desires. And these are the desires that are burning in us. So that is why they became enlightened that way. But here the Buddha says you that there are 6 worlds again. World of seeing, world of hearing, world of smelling, world of tasting, and the world of touching and the world of thinking. There are no other worlds than these 6. In other words, everything, beginning of the world and end of the world is in this fathom long body. Rohitasa Sutta. All are in us. Don't go outside to find. Everything is in us. Correct? So that's what the Buddha is trying to say here. So the Buddha understands how they arise and how they cease. The Buddha knows how clashes and harmony happens in this world. So that is the world that we say the Buddha knows. Loka Vidu means the word Buddha knows about this world of the senses, of our 6 senses, including the mind. Yeah? The Buddha says he knows why people can be trapped in them or they can be free from them. Yeah? That is why he is called Lokavidu. You are in harmony with the world only when you know about it and you live accordingly and accepting as it is. So that is called the Lokavidu. Okay? So we can describe Lokavidu as the Lokavidu is a person who knows about the world. And what do you mean by Loka? As there are 6 worlds, the world, the seeing world, the hearing world, the smelling world, the tasting world, the touching world, and the thinking world. There are no other worlds than these 6, the Buddha says. The Buddha understands how they arise and how they cease. He knows how clashes and harmony happens in this world. He knows why people can be trapped in them and or be free from them. That is why he is called a Lokavidu. You are in harmony with the world only when you know about it and live accordingly to it. Okay? So that is one way to describe knower of the world. You can also interpret that as the Buddha also knows about the 31 planes of existence. I don't have that chart to show you, but it's somewhere in my computer. I find it difficult if I want to dig it out. So I'm sure many of you have heard about the 31 planes of existence. So the Buddha also knows about the 31 planes of existence. Okay, he knows about the 4 apaya realms, the 4 suffering realms, and that is below us. Okay, there's the hell and the hungry ghost realm, Asura realm, and the animal realm. So the Buddha knows about these 4 suffering realms. The Buddha knows about the 7 karma loka, sensual realm, that is from us, from the human to the 6 Deva realms. These are called the sensual realms. I don't have the chart, but I'm sure you all are familiar with this. If you're not familiar, you can ask me later. I'll send you the chart. So the chart of the 31 planes of existence, the Buddha also knows about the 7 Kamaloka. Kamaloka means sensual realm. Okay, and the human is in this sensual realm. Okay, lowest of the Deva realm. Yeah, there are 6 Deva realm. We are the lowest of the Deva realm, but nevertheless, yes, from the chart it shows that we are the lowest of the 7 Kamaloka. Nevertheless, sometimes it is described that we are the luckiest. Don't forget, the human realm is a very lucky realm, so that we can discuss later. Although you look at the chart, you say that Kamaloka starts with the Manusa. Then above us is the realm above us. And then we got 6 Deva realms. Correct? And then above the 6 Deva realms are the 6 Rupa Loka. Yes, this is the fine material realm. These are the Brahma. The Brahmas will go to the 16 Rupa Loka. Yeah. So the Brahmas are there. Brahmas are in the Rupa Loka, and then the Arupa Loka. Those are the realms, not the body. Isn't it? Arupa. Okay. So the Buddha, we can also interpret that the Buddha knows about the 31 planes of existence. If you want to describe a little bit here, you can describe what are the four apaya realms, the four unfortunate realms, or the realm of suffering, and the 7 sensual realms, the 16 fine material realms, and the 4 formless realms. Yeah. So we can also describe and say that the Buddha knows about these 31 planes of existence and even beyond. We can also say that the Buddha knows beyond this. At least we know that Buddhism is the religion where the Buddha says that there are more than just planet Earth that has living beings. The Buddha says in the galaxy there are other beings similar to us. So Buddhism is about the only religion that tells you this, that there are the galaxy have got other planets like the Earth and other living beings other than humans. They are also there. Okay. I think we will just take a break now and see any questions on the 31 planes of existence. Or if somebody has a chart you want to share with us, you can share with us. And if you want to ask any questions, I think we can stop here. We don't have to rush to finish the rest. If I do not know how long is the rest. Let me see. Okay, this one maybe there's a lot which we can discuss. This one there's a lot things to discuss. Okay, I think we can stop there for the time being. This will be 3 lessons, but maybe the next time I will go into again a little bit more detail. We will also quote where he is. That he is the teacher of deathlessness. Yeah, you will find where does it say that he is the teacher of deathlessness. We'll just focus on the qualities of the Buddha. From there, we'll expand and expand and expand. Right?
Yeah,
Okay,
Brother Tan.
Yeah.
This now I think Sister Mingsi asked about Pacheka Buddha.
Yeah.
How they attain enlightenment. But in the Isigiri Sutta, they never mention how these Pacheka Buddhas attain their enlightenment.
Yes.
However, the Buddha confirmed Pacheka Buddha attain enlightenment on their own without the aid of any other person.
Yes.
But because they are Pacheka Buddha, or they call silent Buddha, for reason is they lack the faculty to convince people about the knowledge, the Dhamma. Supposing they are in a faraway place, they are born during a time where, like our Sama Sambuddha, when he was born, the timing is right, the parent is right, there are certain conditions. So the Pacheka Buddha, probably they are born at times outside these factors. So therefore, they lack the faculty to convince others. That is in Isigiri Sutta, it states that.
Yes, thank you, brother. Thank you. Yes. That's exactly what we are saying also. That is that they do not have the theory to teach. They do not have the faculty to teach. That's all. Yeah, correct. And then how they are enlightened, like I've said, I cannot tell you for sure because they never told people, they never came out to share the Dhamma. Yeah. So that is true. Yes, brother. Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you, Brother Kevin. Thank you for sharing with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Anybody else want to say something or add something? Okay, anybody else want to say anything? I think it's almost 4 o'clock. We can have just a quick open discussion if you want. Mr. Cheng, you're very quiet, sister.
Brother Tan, slowly absorbing.
Am I going too fast now?
No,
I assume that we have a certain background already, here.
Yes, yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's okay. It's just I'm a bit slow here.
No, I'm sorry because I have made a certain assumption only. That's why. Yeah.
It's okay. Can follow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Brother Tan, maybe I ask this question about knowledge, knowledge of past lives.
Yeah.
What is the significance of it now? In the Buddha's enlightenment, in one of the watches of the night, he saw his past lives.
Yeah.
So what is the significance of it?
Good. Okay. Okay. I do not know where I want to start with this, Okay, but anyway, I will start with something which is quite different, Okay, what is the significance of past life, Sister Kwa, you want to say anything, Sister Kwa, on this?
Yeah, this is my thinking of it.
Yeah, good. Okay.
The first watch is very important because the Buddha is really seeing his 100,000 past life. He sees the dukkha, he sees the birth, he sees the degradation, he sees the dying. He sees it again and again. So he is actually doing data collection. He is collecting, he's verifying, he's making sure, yes, there is dukkha. So I'm guessing that at that mode is still a very existential mode. It might still be personal because he's seeing himself. He's seeing himself experiencing all this dukkha. Then the second watch, he sees all other beings. He's seeing other beings, probably seeing a lot of humans. And then he's also collecting more data, analyzing, seeing, and then he's seeing the dukkha in all human experiences. And I think with that, the compassion arises also. He's seeing, yeah, everybody also gets old, die. And this is what they call the noble truth. He's seeing that. So he's seeing the problem. He is confirming the problem. So the first and second watch would still be very existential. And as he meditates and he goes into a very deep stillness, the third watch is bingo, when he discovers the way out. He realizes that all these existences are not real, and all these existences are dreams. And that time is when he starts to awaken, or they call it enlightenment. When a person changes the paradigm shift, the mindset from a existential, personal way of seeing things in life is now transitioning to a impersonal, experiential, a very pure experience. And that is the Nibbana, when he realizes that all this is a dream and he wakes up. And so with that is when the third watch is when he discovers the Four Noble Truths. He sees the way out. So this is what I'm guessing what happened to him.
Okay, that was very good, sister. That was very good, very descriptive. Very good. Yeah, I agree with you with everything. Yeah, okay, but we'll come to a conclusion with that. That you see, we didn't conclude with something very important here, I think. Okay, wait, let's see what my brother Kevin has to say. Brother Kevin, you want to say anything? What is the significance of the past life? This is what she's asking, isn't it? That's a Choong Cheng, Yeah, okay, very good. Yeah, it's an excellent question, actually. Yeah.
No, I was thinking of another question, update on this locus. Local voodoo, the locus. Just now we are talking about seeing world, hearing world, smelling world. But there is another definitions which give us the three locus. One of the locus given is called satta loka.
Yes.
Satta loka is about the animal world of living beings.
Yes.
Then you got the Sankara, loka, the world of conditional things.
Yes.
And then the third one is Okasa, loka, the planes of existence. That means the 31 planes of existence.
Yes.
This is how it's been described, loka, in
Yes.
one of the Buddhist texts.
Yes. Agree. Okay. Yes. Yes, brother. Thank you. Very good. Yeah. Okay. Of course, there are many other ways to describe local. Okay. Coming to again the earlier question now about what is the significance of this seeing past life now. Sister Dr. Kwong has explained to us in detail what has happened, but the conclusion is still missing, I think. Okay, what I think is the conclusion is, you see, there are many, all the other religions now, they believe in the Creator God, correct? They believe that at the end of the world, you either go to heaven or you go to hell. Now, in the good old days, there are many ascetics, there are 60 schools, there are 62 schools of thoughts actually. Now, many of these people actually have that power of seeing the past life also. And what Dr. Kwai said, many of these people also have the power of seeing the past life and the future life. But they could only see a certain number of past life of the assembly and a certain number of the future. That's why they concluded as the beginning, because they can't see the beginning, they only saw that, maybe example, I give example, maybe I can only see 5 of my past life. I can't see beyond that 5. So I conclude that it's created by somebody. Make it easy. Because they did not see beyond that, they say it was created. They can't see something ahead for another 5 life maybe. So they say there will be end of the world. Correct? So that is why the conclusion of a creator and end of the world is there. Because these people, they can only go to a certain number of their past lives, and then beyond that, they can't see anymore. No, it's blank, So they say, this is all created by God. You don't see anymore. Then one day when your consciousness or your soul karma is finished, you return to God. They can't see anything. But the Buddha, like what Dr. Kwai said, has gone to hundreds of thousands of his life, beyond and beyond and beyond, and the Buddha saw no beginning. The Buddha knew that the beginning was very, 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 very far. The Buddha can go and go and go and go and go, because the Buddha is fully enlightened. He could go beyond many, 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 many lives. Some of these people can only go beyond their 5 lives, 6 lives, 10 lives, maybe lah. That's why they have got a creator. They concluded it as a creator because they can't see beyond. The Buddha could see very clearly that there was still beginning. The Buddha can see very clearly there's still continuing. So that's why the Buddha says that there is no beginning. Right? Because he could see, and he didn't think it's important for him to travel so far and then come and tell us all these stories. It doesn't help us in our enlightenment. It doesn't help us spiritually. So the Buddha does not want to waste our time and to tell us exactly how it. Of course, we have got one chapter of what beginning of the world, which I will talk later. But for this reason, the significance is because the Buddha could see very, 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 very far, and that is why the Buddha says the world is not created. And those people who say the world was created because they could only see a short past life, maybe 5, 6, 10, 20, I do not know. Then they say, oh, there must be a creator. I can't see anymore, means creator lah. Okay, sister? So that is my conclusion, I think, now with all these stories that I hear from Dr. Hua. Yes, those are very accurate description. But the significance is actually that the Buddha says there is no creator because he could see beyond. And the Buddha says there's no end of the world because the Buddha could see very far. Right? Not that the end of the world is by fire, end of the world was by water and it was created and all that. I think that should be the conclusion. Okay, that is also okay, Sister Kwa. Okay. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, can.
Yeah, another thing I would like to add is my imagination is that when he has seen all these experiences, he saw the workings of karma. He understood things a lot better with so much experiences, and also he throughout his life, he learned so many things. All the Jataka stories came out, and all those teaching, all those things came back to him. He recollected his past, all his adventures in the past, all the challenges in the past, what he learned in the past. Also, he has met great teachers in the past. One of the best experience was when he was born as Jyoti Pala the Brahmin, and his best friend was Gatikara the potter. He had the good fortune of becoming a bhikkhu under Kassapa Buddha. And probably under Kassapa Buddha, he learned a bit of the Dharma already. So all that came together, everything, all the jigsaw puzzle pieces fell into piece. He learned, relearned, and unlearned. And then, beautiful, everything came together. And so with that, we really treasure and cherish our great teacher, the Lord Buddha. Only such a wonderful essence of a being can teach us this, can experience all this, can go straight into the mind and the processes and activities. So that's my imagination.
No, it's very true. Yes, yes. That is why we concluded there is a creator lah. There's no creator lah, but you could see all that beyond, beyond and beyond. Okay, very good. Okay, anybody else before we end? Past our 4 o'clock.
And also to support Brother Tan about this creator of human beings and beings. As you mentioned, there are so many other religious leaders who have meditated and they have seen their past life, but very limited. I think the reason for that limitation is because they have not achieved the 10 perfections. They are not Samma Sambuddha. They cannot travel very far beyond or before. Therefore, with their limited knowledge, they have to fix up the puzzles and say there is a creator. Therefore, my teaching is based on the creator. That my Dharma is based on the creations. If you listen to me, you go to heaven. If you don't, then you go somewhere else that's not so nice. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah. So, anybody else, anything? Okay, if not, then we will conclude our session today. 4 o'clock, isn't it?